what is everyone's role in sort of society. So.
Right. And so how do you address the safety piece that men may feel is holding them back from being a male mentor?
Well, the great thing about the process in and of itself is you spend some really quality time with our professional staff. So you can really explain what are your concerns and what are your goals and what are those barriers, and work through them and make sure that when people are making the decision, they're really making it based on facts.
Right.
The truth is that Big Brothers Big Sisters has a tremendous track record for child safety.
Yep.
One is certainly too many. But we have a tremendous track record in terms of child safety, because not only do we have the process to begin with that helps us ensure that our volunteers and our children are appropriate for the program, but also once a big and a little are matched together, the ongoing match support really helps to ensure that.
Yeah.
So when each big and little are matched together, we talk to them monthly about how the relationship is going, what activities they're doing, child safety issues, what's happening from an agency standpoint. And so that's how we really ensure child safety.
And I understand you do some trainings with your bigs.
Yeah, every volunteer attends an orientation before they begin. Tomorrow we actually have a disability training, training on autism that's open to both our staff and our coordinators as well as our volunteers, our bigs. Nice. So ongoing opportunities. And it really is, it's really individualized and personalized. So each big gets the specific answers to the questions they need and the support that they need.
Yep. That sounds great. My husband and I have become a big couple, and we now have a little brother, Zach. And I think the big couple volunteer opportunity is not as widely known. And when I talk about it, I have a lot of people said, "Oh, I have no idea that my husband and I or my partner and I could have done that," and that seems to make a bit of a difference. Can you just talk a little bit about the big couple opportunity?
What a great opportunity,
isn't it?
Yeah, for two partners to be able to get together and share in this. And we've had that in our agency. We usually have one or two at any given time. And one of the things I love most about it is these children are really able to see a positive relationship right before them, themselves, and be able to see, how the partners interact and how they communicate. And it's a great way to be able to spend time together.
Right.
And to be able to help address having a little brother and the need for more big brothers too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yep.
Now, I read a bit of a study that I saw from Big Brothers Big Sisters that talks about transformation and life success and an enduring relationship, and it looked at the success that littles had later in life based on their mentoring relationship. Would you like to talk about that at all?
Yeah. So what Harris Interactive did a study in 2009, I believe, around littles who are now adults, and giving them a chance to look back and see what was the impact that Big Brothers Big Sisters had. And there's some phenomenal statistics in there. Something around 22 to 25% of littles grew up in low-income homes, and now it's in the 40 to 50% of those littles now consider themselves having moved out of that cycle as a result of this, because what happened is 3/4 of them realized that they could achieve far greater educationally than they ever thought possible because of their big. So they went away, they went to college, they gained an education, found opportunities, and were able to change the income in their family as a result of that. And just raising aspirations, we have programs at colleges where we bring the littles onto campus. Some of these littles it's a challenge for them to think about graduating high school.
Right.
So when you bring a child who's thinking, I might not even graduate high school and then I'll go work wherever my mom and dad work or whatever that is, at maybe a minimum wage job, and then they start to see that, wow, maybe I could go to college and maybe I could choose the other things and I have options.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with those jobs. The important thing is to make sure these littles know they have options in life and that they have the potential for that vision. And oftentimes that's what the bigs do, is help them see, wow, there's really a world out there that you can be a part of, if you choose to, and to really help them find that passion that they just wouldn't have had opportunity to find before.
And that the mentoring relationship has opened up for them that they wouldn't have had.
Yep. And they go away. They go away to school and they come back, and many of them end up becoming bigs because then they see and they understand the gift that they received and want to continue to pass it on.
Right.
So we have high school and college students who are littles who are now bigs. We have adults who are now bigs because at one time they were little and they realized it had a tremendous impact on them. So.
Do you see that as a big motivation when people come in to volunteer? Do you see a lot of littles coming back and as adults now wanting to give back, or?
I see it more now.
Yeah.
Having been in this and being able to sort of see cycles of kids growing up, I see that. Generally, though, the impetus isn't necessarily that someone was involved in Big Brothers Big Sisters per se, but we all can look back in our life and see that we all had a mentor.
Right.
Formally or informally, we all had someone that, other than a parent, that cared about us, that looked after us, that we were able to go to celebrate with, and to share concerns with, and to provide the guidance. And it's so the mentoring in and of itself is a very natural thing, and that's why it works so well. Is because we all have people that we look up to. So what we know is that if we put some structure around it and best practices and ground it in research, that we can really continue to make long-term positive impact and ensure safety while we're doing it and increase the numbers.
Right.
The truth is that I think every child deserves a mentor, but we know in particular that kids from low-income or single-parent families that are just having trouble academically or socially in school, that this program works time and time again. Big Brothers Big Sisters nationally has been around since 1904, and our agency's been around since 1978. Last year we changed over 500 young lives.
Wow.
And that's where we've been for the last few years.
Yeah.
And so we need to continue to engage the community. We need people to say, well, I could do that. Let me look into that. Let me get some more information so I can really make a good decision about that. And corporate partners say, we like what you're doing. We know it makes a difference. We know it impacts our communities. Let's invest in that. And great people who say, I would like to make a career out of that and bring my talents to an agency where I can help. Great individuals like Bob and Micah, who we're going to meet shortly.
Yep. Now, you said that you have a geographic coverage that starts in Lincoln County and then spreads a little bit north up to Lincoln County. But Lincoln County is a bit of a rural place. Do you have a different way to do programming around in Lincoln County, or?
So, regardless of, there's kind of two parts. That's a good question. The reason that Big Brothers Big Sisters in and of itself is successful, every relationship has professional match support to ensure it's developing in a healthy and positive way, that all matches are one-to-one, one big to one little, and all volunteers are screened and trained. So in our school-based mentoring, what that allows us to do is go into some of the more highly populated areas and find volunteer-rich partners like schools and make a large number of matches and serve kids. Our community-based is really helpful because being on the coast, as you get out into peninsulas and more rural areas, if there's one child, say, in a New Harbor or a coastal place like that, you can match them through community-based. So community-based and school-based work together to try to meet the needs of the entire community.
Yep.
So, there's different ways of marketing, obviously, and things like that. And we tend to rely a lot more on word of mouth.
Right. And now shows like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shows like this.
Yeah.
Very
That's
exciting.
Great. So if people wanted to be a volunteer or get more information or feeling like they could see themselves doing this, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, very simple. They call us at our office, 593-0380. That's one of 3 offices that we have, so 593-0380. Find us on the web, bbbsmidmaine.org. 3 B's, 1 S for Big Brothers Big Sisters, midmaine.org. They can find out information there. Give us a call, send us an email, get some information, and find out what would be the best fit for them. I think that's really key.
Great. Joining me now are little brother Micah and big brother Bob. Welcome.
Hi. Welcome. Nice to be here.
Thanks for coming. I'm going to start with you, Bob.
Sure.
So how long have you and Micah been friends?
August 19th will be 5 years.
Wow.
Been together. started when he was just turned 12, and now he's almost 17 on August 13th. So we've had 5 memorable years together.
Right, right. And why did you decide to become a big brother, Bob?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Angie. I'm a father. I have 3 children, 14 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren.
Congratulations.
And all of those have a parents, mother and a father. And so I saw a need or a desire when I heard about Micah, and so I said, I want to be, I get emotional. So I said, I want to be a friend to Micah or a dad to Micah, and that's what we've done.
Yeah. So you just took the relationship and the love that you have for your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids, and you wanted to give it to somebody else.
No more, no less.
Right, right. So that's a great motivation. Do you think that other people would understand that motivation? Is there anything else that you can say about that?
Angie, I think people would.
Yeah.
I think they could identify with that. Absolutely.
Yep. And Micah, how do you like being a little brother?
I enjoy it. It's really nice to have somebody to look up to as a mentor, being raised just by my single mom. So, yeah, it's been very memorable these last 5 years with Bob, and very enjoyable.
And those are some pretty tender years.
Yeah.
12 to now almost
12 to almost 17.
Yeah, so it must have been really wonderful to have a male figure in your life, to have Bob in your life.
Yeah. He's been that father figure that I really needed, and I really enjoyed being with Bob.
That's great. Can you guys talk a little bit about what you do, just to give people an idea of what it means to be a big brother to a little brother?
Being a little to Bob is sort of being almost like a child, but in a sense where you're palling around and being great friends, and you can do anything, such as when we went up to Mountain Batty and we took a lunch up there, and we went and we ate at the top, we hiked, we ridden bikes, we've done all sorts of things, kayaking, canoeing, skiing, just so many things that I wouldn't normally get to do without Bob.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's interesting, you know, when we met, I was in Medicare age, and he wasn't even born. So that kind of thing puts things in perspective. But that's not a barrier. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, if you felt like the age difference between you guys is a barrier or not, but...
No.
The only way it's a barrier, Angie, is when we ski. I don't ski anymore because I had a hip replacement, and they recommend I don't do it.
Yep.
So I watch him. I read a book, and he skis. So, but that's basically the only limitation I've encountered.
Great, great. So any age to become a big brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's got to be in the heart.
It's got to be in the heart.
It's got to be in the heart. Yep, that's wonderful. So do you guys tend to do sort of meeting on the same time, the same day, or have you seen it evolve over the years?
The same time for the most part, just
3
different
o'clock,
days.
2 o'clock, different days.
Yeah. Just different days.
Whatever
a
the
lot of
schedule
time.
calls, we move it around.
Yeah.
So you're not locked in. We
Yeah.
spend 3 to 4 hours together, and we missed a week now and then. In fact, I went one year. I was gone in Florida for a couple months, so we didn't get together. But those things happen.
Yeah.
Did you guys stay in touch while you were in Florida?
Yeah.
Postcards,
Postcards. Yeah. Postcards.
Postcards.
Letters.
Skype.
No. He doesn't know how to do that.
You haven't gotten him onto that yet?
Nah.
So what are you guys looking forward to doing this summer?
Oh, geez. I'm looking forward to kayaking next week.
Yeah, we're going to do
And
that.
swimming maybe sometime. Maybe a little hiking and biking would be nice. So, yeah.
Especially if it gets less humid.
He calls the shots. You know,
Well,
he
for the
plans the
most part.
schedule pretty much. I mean, it's varied from going to the library and reading a book, or
Yeah.
like he said, go and have lunch together, or a good movie, or you know, whatever occurs at the moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever seems good. Whenever I get in this truck.
So you kind of just take off and see what happens?
Yeah.
We've even panned for gold.
Yeah. Even went up way up north.
Way up north to do that?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like a 3-hour drive.
Uh-huh. So I know you guys live in sort of, and this is a question I asked Alex earlier, live in that sort of rural area. Do you take advantage of the things that Big Brothers, Big Sisters put together, some of those activities, those free activities that they put together for bigs and littles? Or
We've done, what have we,
A few times we have.
But not all of them, because
Scheduling.
the bowling and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah, the kids for both the kids' sake.
And those are great activities.
Yeah.
Those are awesome
We've always
activities.
enjoyed
Keep them
them.
going. And yeah, it's been good.
Always enjoyed those.
Yeah.
Always been fun.
did you have something you want to say, Bob? No.
Well, yeah, I would like to just comment briefly.
Yeah.
I wrote a comment here that kind of answers the question, one of the big questions why I'm with Micah. And I will mention that we just finished a 4-week Bible study,
Okay.
which is good. Had a great time. But in the scriptures in Titus 2:6, the Apostle Paul said to Titus, he said, "Young men, likewise exhort to be sober-minded, to be sensible." Then there's a preacher of the gospel in 1868 to 1900, J.C. Rowley, who said the following, and this kind of stuck with me. He said, "I am growing old myself, but excuse me, I'm an
all right.
emotional person. But there are few things I remember so well as the days of my youth. I have a most distinct recollections of the joys and the sorrows, the hopes and the fears, the temptations and the difficulties, the mistaken judgments and the misplaced affections, the errors and the aspirations which surround and accompany a young man's life. If I can only say something to keep young men in the right way and preserve him from faults and sins which may mar his prospects both for time and eternity, I shall be very thankful." End of quote.